We've been discussing in studio the how of the fighting. That why of the fighting is another critical part. That is, of course, the horrible stories, the nightmarish testimonies we have heard over the past 3 weeks since the massacre. And we are going to hear as well from the relatives of people that were kidnapped. Joining us now in studio is Tamir Rahamim, the cousin to Liri Elbag, who was kidnapped to Gaza. Tamir, I'm glad you could be in here with us, even though there are no good words of consolation at this time. Just share as much of the story as you are comfortable doing.
Well, thank you for having me, of course, first of all. You know, Larry is basically 18-year-old kid, just graduated from high school a few months ago, and, you know, she lived her life, traveled, had fun, went to parties, but eventually she was in the wrong place on the wrong time and got kidnapped by murderers, by subhuman creatures that basically don't have any value, any feelings toward the suffer of people who are not Muslims, basically, and not in their sides, because, you know, Arab also went missing, abducted, and killed. So, in the first day of the war, I'm a startup founder and CEO in the day-to-day. I just closed the product for initial customers, felt happy for an hour. Hour later, Liri was missing. The communication stopped. I thought it was a rumor at first, and in the first day I was in utter shock. I didn't realize how to deal with it. And eventually I realized I need to do something. I took all my staff, told them, guys, we finished our product, but we need to do something much more important. I mean, in the day-to-day, we're saving people from injuries. In this war, we realized we must to save lives, as many as possible. And we start working on the OSINT engine, which scrape all the data from their bragging in social media, most of the Telegram. I mean, we're following thousands of channels that, you know, praise their terrorist actions, even sending evidences. I mean, a lot of the stories we just heard are things I saw in my own eyes. We have representatives working directly in the field trying to find bodies, which in a lot of cases are utterly corrupted, and we can't identify them in any, any conventional means. It's horrible story to tell, and we took our abilities in the AI fields and merged them with a lot of elite cybersecurity personnel from the army, from other organizations, and we basically provide technical support and trying to make the matches between the media from the families and the scraping we're doing on social medias and in other means as well. Basically, it's really hard to speak about Liri as we don't know what's happening with her and all of her friends, but I can tell from my personal experience, I have friends who lost over 20 friends in that Black Sabbath. And, you know, they actually saw the videos of their corpses on the last minutes. I saw a lot of videos of helpless people getting slaughtered, butchered, with cheers of joy from those subhuman creatures. I mean, I'm trembling because it's unacceptable. In every manner is human to deal with it. And thank you very much. Our purpose in Liri's Smile is to make Gaza transparent intellectually. We need and we do all of our abilities and capabilities, and our team grew from 2 people to over 60 people in basically 10 days from the beginning of this initiative. And, you know, we all want to have them back as much as possible, as well as possible, because the conditions are totally subhumans and the news we're getting are not most optimistic. So we really need to do the efforts to make Gaza transparent and to save lives of also fighting forces. And I'm calling every family member of someone who's been abducted or still missing to fill the form in our website and actually help you and find your relative as soon as possible. And of course, our intelligence also is, reachable for every military or security force in Israel, whether it's IDF, whether it's Shin Bet, whether it's Mossad. Whoever needs our data and its verified Israeli DoD embodiment, we're here to help, we're here to share, and hopefully it will make the difference and help a lot of people to get their loved ones back and better days with less casualties for all of us.
It's a commendable effort. So many people right now are grieving, but rather than being broken by grief, you decided to act to create a solution with your experience. As I understand what you're trying to describe, it's basically helping identify and locate missing persons.
Exactly.
Is it going to be something that is useful in many different directions? You said there's not just the evidence and the details from our side. Will a tool like this also be helpful in identifying who the murderers are so that people like the IDF can go after them and ensure that justice is done?
Of course. So, as my colleague here said, the Munich murderers fled for, some of them 20 years. Our effort is to, just shrink this difference into days if possible, but the most realistic use case would be like months. And the reason we need to do it is to actually cut the evil from its source as soon as possible. Otherwise, those, sorry for my French, but assholes will continue preach hate for another generation. That's what they're doing over 100 years. And, if we want teach them fear, if we want to speak in their language, in their culture ways, eventually we're letting them win. And we're letting this sick mentality another reason to be, flourish to fruition, and we need to cut it as soon as possible. And this is part of our efforts.